Some days I'm inspired, some days I'm exhausted, but most days I'm just trying to show up for myself. Welcome back to Creative Struggles. I am Nahjalae, and today we are going to be talking about the art of showing up, specifically showing up for yourself, even when you're tired, doubtful, or feel like nothing's happening for you. Let's talk about it. Now, before we do that, you already know what we get into. We get into the grind report, which means I'm going to be telling you what I did for the week, my successes, downfalls, whatever reporting I have for you. This week, I don't really have much for you, but to continue to submit, that is what I'm doing. Now, the question today is, what does showing up really mean? And I personally feel like showing up is doing the small things consistently. Like, for example, posting. That's very small to do, but if you do it consistently, you get some traction, you get people interested, bada bing, bada boom. But if you're inconsistent with it, it's kind of up and down, right? Creating even when you feel like it's pointless. Because the funny thing is, when you don't feel like making a video, posting something, those are usually the posts or the videos that get the most traction. For whatever reason, it never fails. You don't feel like doing something, posting, submitting for a self-tape. That is usually when people are the most interested. And it's like all the funny stuff, all the good work that I've done, and you like this specifically? It took me no time to do this. It's just those pointless things that seem pointless to you, but really, it could actually take you further than what you know. So sometimes I get it. Like, ain't nobody really paying attention. What's the point? Also, still creating when you're questioning everything. And me, I question a lot of stuff. And it's just genuinely sometimes hard because it's like you don't really know what people are looking for. You don't really know what video is going to hit. You don't know these things. So it's just kind of like that big question mark of what am I doing? What should I do? When should I post? What time should I post? How many hashtags should I use? Should I use 3? Should I use 10? How lengthy should the description be? A couple of characters or a lot of characters? Like, you don't know what the algorithm is going to put you at. I personally feel like I've been shadow banned because anytime that I post on TikTok, I'm only getting a certain amount of views consistently at that. And I post 3 times a week. I don't know if I'm using too many hashtags, not enough hashtags. I don't know. I'm still doing my research. Like I've been telling y'all, do y'all research. Cause I continue to do mine and I feel like it fluctuates up and down. 1 minute they tell you to put, shoot, as many hashtags as you can. And then the next minute you should only be putting, you shouldn't be putting more than 5 hashtags. It's like, well, I didn't know that. Now I need to go back and do some editing and take some of these hashtags out. It's honestly just a learning thing. You know, you got to do the research. And even when I feel like you do the research, it's not always accurate. So it's like, well, y'all told me to do it this way, but everybody else is doing it this way. What's the tea? Mine's not working. And also, I feel like showing up for yourself is being on time for you and not just others. You know, like it's one thing to go out of your way for other people, do all of these things for other people. But yeah, when it comes to you, it's kind of like, I don't feel like doing that for myself right now. I don't feel like submitting the self-tape to get me to that next level right now. I don't feel like posting this reel. I don't feel like creating this video because I don't want to do that. But if somebody else asks you to do it with them, it's like, oh yeah, I'll do it. You know, you got to show up for yourself too. And I feel like I talked about this in prior episodes too. You need to get your rest because the burnout sucks. It sucks. You keep going and going and going and going. You have no rest. You are going to burn out and you are going to feel terrible because you have used all of your energy, strength, everything. And now you have nothing left for yourself. So always find the time to get that relaxation. Do something that is helpful for you. Sleeping, meditating, reading a book, doing something that makes you feel more level. And then it's sometimes where you could be doing a self-tape and you have 10 takes and you feel like each time it's not hitting, things aren't going how you feel like it should. Stuff isn't even looking right. Your facial expressions are off. And it's like, you know what? I don't even feel good sending this, but I'm on a time crunch here. So pick the best out of the 10 that I just did and submit one of those and call it a day. Even though you feel like, oh, well, I don't like any of them, but you keep coming out with the same results. And it's like, well, forget it. I'm just going to send it. Sometimes those are the ones that people like the most. I should act like I don't care to get what I need. I feel like the truth of the matter is big breaks come from long-term consistency. And I say that because you're consistently posting, you're consistently trying, it's going to get noticed. And that is where those big breaks come from. So just continuing to be consistent even when you feel like no one is watching. Because like I've said before, there's always someone watching. It just may not be visible to you. Keep that in mind. And results do not show up the same time as your effort does. You could be putting 150% into something, and by the end of it, you may not see any results, but something is working. You may not see it right then and there, but that might help you down the line. I'm the type of person where, and I think this is kind of like my issue with it all, is that when I feel like, when I feel like I've done something exceptionally well, I feel like I need to see results. I need to see the fruits of my labor. I need to see the proof in the pudding, and the results is not always there. And it's like, well, how do I know if I'm doing good if I can't see the results? But at the end of the day, showing up builds momentum, and momentum builds opportunity. Consistently posting, consistently doing whatever it is that you're doing. Me, for example, with this podcast, I'm being consistent with it. Like, I consistently post 3 times a week. I post the day before, the day of the podcast, when it drops, and the day after. If you got a good momentum going, keep that, because your opportunity is right around the corner. You may not see the result of it just yet, but it is coming. And that is how I need to view it and see it. Because right now it's John Cena. I don't see nothing. But I know deep down that something wonderful, something magnificent, something God sent is coming my way. Also, this episode is kind of piggybacking off of episode 13, where I talk about, am I enough? How do I show up for myself? You want to be consistent, of course, but life happens, things get in the way, you start to doubt yourself because you feel like it's not going the way that you thought it should be going, especially when you're starting something new. Like, this podcast it's new for me, and I think I'm doing good, but I want to be great. I want to continue to flourish and succeed. And I don't want to give up on myself, because I put all of this work into creating these episodes and these segments and talking pieces, and just stopping because I feel like I'm only getting about 2 or 3 likes or views, and those 2 or 3 likes or views is coming from me. But that's the thing too, I feel like you need to be your biggest supporter. If you don't support what you're doing or what you believe in, then you might as well forget about it. Once you truly start believing in yourself, the followers will come. The likes will come. So for right now, I'm the one liking and reposting my own stuff. But soon enough, I know I'll be getting a lot of other people doing it. So moving on to a win is a win. I feel like specifically for this episode, showing up when you don't feel like it. Because sometimes, I'm going to be completely honest, very transparent, I don't feel like showing up for myself all the time. I just don't. Sometimes I just want to sit there and do nothing, because that's how I'm feeling in that moment. But eventually, I get over my funk, I get up, dust myself off, and you know what? I am going to submit this self-tape today. I am going to create today. I am going to write today. Get out of this funk. We got to figure it out, right? And I feel like a lot of times that's what we need to do with ourselves. Like, trick our minds from feeling depressed or sad about you not booking something. Dust yourself off and try again. I think the reward of that is 10 times better, because you think back to like, wow, I did not feel like doing this, and it worked out for me. A win also being staying consistent. And I feel like that's easier said than done. It's like, oh yeah, just be consistent. Yeah, but when life starts happening, like, how am I supposed to be consistent? Being consistent can be hard, but once you build that momentum up, like you already know what you want to post, how you want to post it, when you want to post it. So that consistency kind of starts to get better because you already know what you're going to post. I commend all podcasters, especially the ones that are doing it on their own, like me. I do all of my editing, sound, lighting, like I do it all myself. So, and it's not stressful. I think at first when I started, it was a little stressful. If you can recall the first 2 episodes, lighting was terrible. It didn't look as good as it does now. I could use a couple of more lights in the back. Lessons learned. Well, let's see. I think it's better to show up flawed than to not show up at all. If you post and you only get about a handful of likes, a handful of views, that's something. That's better than nothing. Because if you don't post anything, no one's going to be watching you. So posting something, doing something that caters towards whatever you're trying to pursue. It could be very small. It could be very big. It could be very medium. Like the choice is yours. But, at the bare minimum, do something small, like posting about it. Building a future version of yourself. Creating a vision board really helps because you can literally write down, cut out, tape, glue, whatever you need to do to this vision board of how you see your future or how you want your future to be, what you want in your future, goals that you want to see happen, and give yourself a timeline, and then put it up somewhere where you're looking at it every day, reading it out loud, and you're actually visually seeing it. So, okay. And one day you'll come across it. It's like, wait, I actually did some of these things that I put on my vision board. Wow. Power of the tongue is very powerful. You can make or break yourself with what comes out of your mouth. And I've had to learn to not be negative. If I were to say like, oh, I don't think this is going to work for me, like no one's watching, no one's paying attention, I'm literally speaking that out into the universe. And of course ain't nobody watching because I keep repeating it. I keep saying it. So subconsciously, that's what's going to happen. So learning to use reverse psychology on yourself. I can do this. Now on to the last segment, struggle mail. Well, I don't have my iPad today. I am going to be reading it off of my computer. Bear with me. Okay, let's see. I already have it pulled up. Love the podcast. Seems like you've been going through quite a bit, and yet you continue to push forward. I believe it's all going to work out. Like you said, you just got to keep going. Yes, I just have to keep going. We just have to keep going. I feel like when you quit something, you were so close. The moment was so close, but you quit right before it happened and now the moment is gone. And it's not like you can't get the moment again. It might take some more time to get that moment, but you are right there. And I just have to think about it like that. I'm right there. But thanks, though. It's very nice. Thanks for tuning into Creative Struggles. And remember, showing up is not glamorous, but it is necessary. Do what you need to do for yourself. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, send an email. And if you don't want to send an email, send a DM. Leave a comment on any of the platforms. Leave a comment on YouTube. Do what it is that you need to do to reach out, and I will be sure to read it on the next episode.